What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to I Think. Today, I'm going to give you 3 reasons I support the protesters who stormed the U.S. State Capitol building. Let's talk about it. So before we get too deep into it, let me tell you a little bit about myself. In 2010, I joined the United States Army. I took an oath to defend the Constitution against threats both foreign and domestic. About 4 years later, around 2014, I saw the way that Gaddafi unilaterally disarmed, and President Obama responded by going in, taking him out, and dumping his body in the ocean. When I saw that, I started asking a few questions. Some questions went into my mind. Because I already knew about Gaddafi and what he was trying to do with the dinar, and I thought that was a good thing for Africa. So I wondered, why did we have to kill Gaddafi and turn Libya into a failed state with open air slave markets? Then I started looking into Iraq, Afghanistan, and learning about the history of what had happened in 2001. And I realized a lot of good men are serving in the army, following orders, illegal orders. They're in Iraq, an illegal war, becoming war criminals for a cause they know nothing about, just following orders. And I salute and I appreciate all the soldiers, all the men and women in uniform, but I understand the soldier's mentality. Soldier's mentality is, let's not get too political. We're just following orders. Let's get the job done and let's get home safe. Why do I bring this up? Well, when I see the protesters who stormed the state capitol building, I see a bunch of followers, a bunch of soldiers following orders. The Republicans, Donald Trump, Rudy Giuliani, and more hyped these guys up, telling them the election was stolen. So they're following orders, really believing that their constitution, their democracy is being stolen away from them. Some of them really believe that. And they're following orders. They say, hey, now's the time. We have to draw a line in the sand. Now's the time we have to fight and show them we mean business. Do I think that what they did in the state capitol was wise or a good decision? Hell no. They really made their cause look bad. It was really a big L on their part. It made the country look weak. They made Republicans look terrible. Whatever credibility they had as far as, you know, fraudulent elections, that's completely gone out the window. Nobody's even going to listen to that argument anymore. As if the majority of the country was anyway. They already had a hard enough time getting anyone to care or even look into it. But now, after the stunt they pulled, that whole debate is gone. So the move to storm the state capitol building was a giant loss. However, I can understand the mentality of the followers who did it. So for that reason, I can relate to them. Now let's get into number 2. Reason number 2. Man, these guys got heart. Now, when I say they got heart, what do I mean? I mean they believe in something and they're willing to stand on it. They're willing to fight, live, die, kill, and face what consequences may come for what they believe. I think that's very powerful. A lot of people are on this internet talking like I'm doing now, but when push comes to shove, how much heart do they have? Will they stand on what they believe? Will they go out into the streets and fight for what they believe? In this case, I think that the protesters, they put their heart in the unjust cause. They were misguided and they stood for the wrong cause, and it's showing now. Like I said before, they're taking the L on this one. But I do respect the fact that they were willing to fight for what they believe in, and a lot of them are going to be facing some serious time in these years to come. They're going to be facing federal charges, trespassing, carrying weapons in private federal property. it's going they're going to be facing a lot of time, facing a lot of consequences for the actions that they did on January 6, 2021. But the heart that it takes to risk that, the heart that it takes to stand on their beliefs, is respectable. The same reason I supported Black Lives Matter, not the organization, but the slogan, the black people who were fighting in 2020 after the death of George Floyd, the people who went out in the streets, I supported them. I said, man, they believe what they're fighting on. I believe in that cause way more than I believe in any stolen elections. I know a lot of people are saying you can't compare the two. You know, Black Lives Matter is a legitimate cause. We can see the evidence of racist cops killing black people, unarmed black men and women. We can see it every year. And that's true. I definitely support that cause more so than this cause. But I think both sides, it takes heart to stand up and to fight for the things that you believe in. So for that reason, I have to continue to say I support the protesters who stormed the Capitol State Building. My disclaimer stays the same. I wouldn't have done it. I think they put their heart in the wrong cause. But I respect the heart that it took for them to take the actions that they took. Let's get into number 3. Reason number 3. Now, this might be the most important reason. But from my perspective, the people who were present at that state capitol building, who stormed the building, those are the fighters America's going to need. Why do I say that? Well, it might come as a result of the mandatory vaccines, or it might come as a result of the biblically prophesied event called the mark of the beast, which says no man will buy or sell lest he take the mark of the beast. But the day will come when the government tries to force us all to bow down and accept what should not be accepted. When that day comes, a lot of people are going to accept it. A lot of people are going to bow down. A lot of people are going to accept that mark in their hand or in their forehead. I'm not going to be one of them. And I'm going to need fighters, just like those who were present at that state capitol building, who are also not going to accept anything the government says. There's going to be a day, the day will come, where it won't matter if you're black or white, it won't matter if you're Republican or Democrat, liberal or conservative, all that's going to fade away. And the only thing that's going to remain is, were you willing to bow down to the government and accept that chip in your hand, or were you willing to fight and accept the consequences that come? I, for one, will not bow down, and I will not accept the chip, come what may. And I think people, just like you see, who are rioting for Black Lives Matter, the people, just like you see, who stormed the state capitol building, the heart that it takes for people to do that type of thing is the same heart that it's going to take for them to say, no, I'm not bowing down to the government, and I'm not going to accept any agenda you try to push upon us. The people who stormed that building, there's some fighters. They got heart, misplaced as it may be, but those are the type of people that America's going to need if America wants to stay strong and if America wants to stay free. Because trust me, they're coming for your freedom. They're coming for it faster than you know. We're on that slippery slope, whether you see it or not. And that with every new event, every new pandemic, every new vaccine, they just steady, every new war, they just steady chipping away at our freedoms, seeing how much you'll accept, seeing how low you can bow your head. But a day's going to come when you're going to have to pick a side. And when that day comes, I'm glad it's going to be fighters besides just me who say, no, I'm not accepting anything. No, I'm not bowing down. Come what may. But that's just what I think. Holler at me in the comments. Tell me if you think I'm wrong. If you think I'm wrong, tell me why. If you think I'm right, hit the like button. Comment. Let me see where your head is at. What do you think about what's going on in the state capitol building or with the state capitol protests? Peace. Because that's what I think.